Citroën ë-C3. On paper, it sounds like just another alphanumeric code, lost in a sea of car models.
Oh, absolutely.
You've got your IDs, your e-trons, your BZ4Xs. It's just a soup of letters out there.
It really is.
But we've been combing through a stack of recent reports and market analysis on this specific car, and one of our sources describes it as something, well, something much bigger.
Bigger is one way to put it.
They call it, and I'm quoting here, a political and industrial manifesto.
Which is a very heavy title for a subcompact hatchback. I mean, usually words like manifesto are reserved for, revolutions, not grocery getters.
Right, but that's the hook. That's why we're talking about it.
Yeah.
This isn't just about a car today. It's about a potential shift in reality for the entire European auto industry.
It really is, because for years, the narrative has been pretty grim for the average person who actually wants to go electric. You just look at the market and what do you see?
Well, historically, you saw two things, and neither of them helped the average family.
Exactly. You saw the toys for the rich, the high-performance luxury EVs, the Teslas, the Porsches. Incredible machines, but...
But they're priced like a small house.
Exactly. And on the other side, you saw these massive 50,000 euro SUVs that manufacturers kept churning out because, well, frankly, the profit margins were fat.
They completely ignored the reality of families who just need to get to work, drop the kids off, and come home.
A huge gaping hole right in the middle of the market.
And then this car comes along, the 2026 Citroën ë-C3. The claim is so bold, it wants to be the first true European electric car for everyone.
And that European part is key. We'll definitely get into that. But the mission of this deep dive really is clarity.
Total clarity.
There's so much marketing noise, so much criticism about range and cheapness, and so many dense spec sheets floating around. We're going to cut through all of that.
Okay, so what's the plan?
We need to understand how they achieve this price point without building, a disaster.
And what the trade-offs actually look like, because there are always trade-offs.
Always. And then we'll look at the sales numbers from April 2025 to see if this whole gamble actually worked.
Okay, let's unpack this revolution then. The headline grabber is the price. The list price starts at $23,900.
But with incentives, in a lot of European countries, it actually dips below 20,000.
Which is the magic number. That's the psychological barrier, isn't it?
It is. Analysts have been saying for a decade that once an EV hits that 20,000 NAR mark, it becomes competitive with a petrol car right there at the point of sale. No calculator needed.
But that begs the core question. How? How did they do it? I mean, usually when something is that cheap, it's, well, cheap.
Right. Did they just glue some cardboard together?
Exactly. Did they cut corners on safety? I feel like there have to be a catch.
No. And this is where it gets really fascinating from an industrial standpoint. It's not about using cheap glue. It's about a strategy of radical simplification.
Okay.
One of the most striking stats we found is that this car uses approximately 30% fewer components than its predecessors.
Wait, hold on. 30%? That's almost a third of the car just gone.
Yeah.
That sounds a little alarming.
It's not about removing the steering wheel.
I heard not.
It's about integration and just smart engineering. Think about a normal car door. It might have a dozen different stamped metal parts all welded together, but if you can engineer it to be cast as just one or two pieces, you eliminate the welding, the fasteners, the robots, the complexity.
So it's a case of addition by subtraction.
That's a great way to put it. And that efficiency on the assembly line, that's the secret sauce of affordability. It's not about making each part cheaper. It's about needing fewer of them.
Okay, that makes sense for the body. But what about the single most expensive part of any EV, the battery?
The battery.
It's a 44 kilowatt lithium iron phosphate battery, LFP. Now, most EVs I hear about use lithium ion with nickel and cobalt. So
Yeah.
why the switch? Is this just a budget option?
It is a budget-conscious choice, yes, but it's also a durability choice. And this is crucial. Most high-performance EVs use NMC chemistry, nickel, manganese, cobalt. NMC is very energy dense. It's like a sprinter. It holds a lot of power in a small, light package. That's how you get 500 kilometers of range.
Right, the premium stuff. So what's LFP?
LFP, lithium iron phosphate, is less energy dense. So to get the same range, the battery has to be a bit heavier, a bit bigger.
Yeah,
but
there's a but.
It has two massive advantages for a car like this. One, it doesn't use cobalt, which is expensive and has major ethical supply chain problems.
Okay, that's a big one.
And two, it is incredibly durable. You can charge an LFP battery to 100% every single day without degrading it much at all.
Wait, really? I thought the golden rule with EVs was Don't charge past 80% to save the battery.
For NMC batteries, yes, that's the rule. With LFP, that rule pretty much goes out the window. It's just much more robust.
So Citroën traded a little bit of that high-end performance for a battery that's cheaper and will likely outlast the car itself.
Precisely. It's a pragmatic choice. The difference between a delicate thoroughbred racehorse and a reliable workhorse. One is faster, but the other just keeps going.
And there's another layer to this. A lot of cheap EVs are imports, right, from China, often with, let's say, different standards.
Right.
But the ë-C3 is built in Slovakia.
It is. It's built in Europe for Europeans. And that's significant. It counters that trend of cheap imports that can sometimes have questionable safety standards or support networks.
So you can actually get parts for it.
You can. It's a European car priced like an import. That's a very aggressive industrial stance.
Okay, so the price is right, the engineering is sound, but now we have to face the music, the specs. This is where affordable can start to hurt.
Well, it depends on how you define hurt.
Let's start with range. 198 miles. That's about 320 kilometers on the WLTP cycle.
And just to be clear for everyone, WLTP is a lab test, the best case scenario.
So in the real world, especially in winter, expect less.
Definitely.
But is that enough? I mean, seeing a number that starts with a 3 when others are offering a 5 or 6 can trigger some serious range anxiety.
If we think about how people actually drive, not how they fantasize about driving, then for the target user, yes, it is more than enough.
You think so?
It's a city car. It's for urban commuters. 320 kilometers covers your daily commute, grocery runs, school pickups, even a weekend trip.
But you can't drive across the continent in one go.
No, you can't. But why should you pay thousands of euros extra for a massive battery you might use once a year? Hauling around that extra weight is inefficient. This car defines enough as what you actually need for 95% of your life.
That's a really fair point. We do buy for the edge case, not the daily one. And if you do need to stop, the fast charge is 20 to 80% in, what was it?
26 minutes, basically a coffee break. It's manageable.
Okay, what about speed? The motor is 83 kilowatts. 0 to 100 kilometers an hour takes about 11 seconds. Top speed is capped at 132. I mean,
yeah,
11 seconds, that's leisurely.
It's certainly not pinning you to the back of your seat.
No.
But one of the sources uses this brilliant analogy that I just love. Lamenting the top speed of a city car is like complaining that a toaster doesn't make coffee.
I loved that line when I read it. It's perfect.
It is, isn't it? This car is a tool for mobility, not a race car. And let's be honest, 11 seconds is perfectly fine for merging onto a highway.
And 132 kilometers per hour is above the speed limit almost everywhere anyway.
Exactly. It's a toaster that makes excellent toast. We shouldn't be mad it can't froth milk.
I get it. Okay, let's move inside the toaster, because this is where the online controversy really fired up.
Ah, the interior, the anti-frills approach.
People saw the base model and just screamed, there's no screen, and the plastics are so hard.
I know.
I mean, in 2026, selling a car without a touchscreen feels like selling a house without a toilet. It just feels backward.
This is a classic case of expectations versus reality. Let's talk about the plastics first. Yes, they're rigid, but this is an economy utility vehicle.
Meant to last.
Right. Soft-touch plastics degrade, they peel in the sun. Hard plastics, they survive kids, dogs, groceries. They wipe clean. It's about utility.
Okay, I can forgive the plastic, but no screen. How do I even use GPS?
This might actually be the smartest thing they did. They replaced the instrument cluster with a head-up display, which is actually a premium feature, and a generic smartphone dock.
A dock. So my phone becomes the screen.
Your phone is the screen. And think about it. Why pay extra for a built-in infotainment system that's going to be obsolete in 3 years?
Oh, totally. The GPS in a 2015 car looks like a Nintendo game from the 90s. It's always so laggy.
It is, but your smartphone, you upgrade that every couple of years. It has Google Maps, Waze, Spotify. By forcing you to use your phone, Citroën future-proofs the car by removing the tech that ages the fastest.
That is actually a real aha moment. Instead of a dated screen in 2030, you just plug in your iPhone 20 and the car feels new again.
Precisely. And to fight that cheap feeling, they wrapped parts of the dashboard in fabric. It adds a bit of tactile warmth, like furniture, without the high cost.
It sounds like they're really trying to make it comfortable, even if it's basic. And speaking of comfort, that's Citroën's whole reputation.
It is. They have to deliver on that.
They can't just make a bone shaker.
And they haven't. The sources are clear that this is where they spent the money they saved on the screens. It has their advanced comfort suspension.
Progressive hydraulic cushions. That sounds very technical. What does it actually do?
In a normal suspension, when you hit a big bump, the shock hits a hard stop. You get that clunk.
Yeah.
These cushions use fluid to slow the suspension down at the extremes. It absorbs the energy. It's designed to literally eat up city potholes better than cars costing twice as much.
I love that image. A car just eating potholes.
It means the ride is just smooth and composed. It's for people who want to float over speed bumps without spilling their coffee.
So we have a cheap, comfortable, logical car. It sounds great in theory, but the real test is the market. Did anyone actually buy it?
Well, we have the sales data from April 2025, and the verdict is surprisingly strong.
How strong?
C3 registrations, that's all versions, grew 7% compared to April 2024. And April 2024 is already a huge month, so that's growth on top of growth.
And how's the competition doing?
The competition is bleeding. While the C3 went up, the heavyweights went down. The Dacia Sandero,
The king of budget cars,
dropped 28%. The Renault Clio is down 3%. The Peugeot 208 is down 6%. The C3 hit number 5 overall in Europe. It is eating their lunch.
Wow, those are serious numbers. What about the electric version specifically, the ë-C3?
The ë-C3 sold 3,962 units that month. That makes it the 10th best-selling EV in Europe.
Okay, top 10. That's respectable.
But more importantly, it's the number 2 bestseller in its specific segment. And here's the real kicker. EVs make up a quarter, 25% of total C3 sales.
A quarter? That seems really high for a mass market car at launch.
It's a huge ratio. It shows that the electric for everyone pitch is actually landing. People are voting with their wallets for this idea.
But we have to talk about the retro cool rival, the Renault R5.
The elephant in the room. Or maybe the mouse.
The sources say it outsold the ë-C3 in absolute numbers that month.
It did. The R5 is a phenomenon. It looks amazing. It plays on nostalgia. But if you dig into the distribution of those sales, it gets really interesting.
How so?
The R5 is incredibly dependent on its home market, France. About 40% of its sales are domestic. It's a hometown hero.
Okay, and the Citroën?
The ë-C3 has a much more balanced European spread. Only about 26% of its sales are in France. It's selling well in Germany, Italy, Spain.
So it has a broader appeal.
It shows better homogeneous penetration. It suggests stronger long-term potential. The R5 is a fashion statement, but the C3 is a utility choice that works everywhere.
And didn't the C3 have a bit of a rough launch in France?
It did. There were some software bugs early on that hurt its domestic reputation. The R5 didn't have that baggage, so the C3 is performing this well despite a glitchy start.
The dreaded software bugs.
Yeah.
But there's another factor here, right? The hybrid.
Yes, this is a big one. The sales numbers we just talked about, they were achieved without the hybrid version being fully available.
And hybrid is the most popular powertrain in Europe right now.
It is. When the C3 hybrid fully hits the market, we expect these numbers to jump even further. It's the sleeping giant of the lineup.
So they're doing this well with one hand tied behind their back.
In a way, yes.
So what does this all mean? We started by calling it a manifesto. And it feels like the ë-C3 is succeeding because it stopped talking about ecology in the abstract and started making it accessible. It's about saving your wallet.
It's a victory of substance over style, or as one source put it, a victory over useless LED lights. It's pragmatic. It acknowledges that the green transition has to work for the nurse, the teacher, the construction worker.
I just want to take a second here. We've thrown a lot of numbers at you today. 34 kilowatt, 30% fewer parts, April 2025 sales. LFP chemistry.
It's a lot to take in.
It is. And we know that in a world where you're just constantly bombarded with information, your time is incredibly valuable.
It really is. And we just want to genuinely thank you for trusting us to filter all this for you. Our goal is always clarity.
And we hope this deep dive helped you understand not just a car, but a real shift in the industry without you having to read 5 technical manuals.
Or sit through hours of YouTube reviews.
Seriously, thank you for listening. We love doing this because of you. It's a real privilege to help make sense of these things.
Absolutely. We appreciate you sticking with us through the technical bits.
Before we go, I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over. The source material says the ë-C3 is aiming to be the best-selling car in Europe. Not just electric, the best car, period.
That's a huge ambition.
It is. But think about it. If a car with hard plastics, no built-in screen, and a modest top speed can actually beat the tech-heavy giants just by being affordable and comfortable, what does that tell us?
It really raises a fascinating question about the disconnect between what the industry thinks people want and what they actually want.
Exactly. Maybe drivers don't want a spaceship with a 50-inch screen. Maybe they just want a toaster that makes really, really good toast.
And gets them to work on time.
That too.
Hmm.
Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. We'll catch you on the next one.